I always refer to Oklahoma as the buckle on the Bible Belt.
In this stretch of America, where conservative politics is as abundant as the oil that comes from the ground,
this is where I grew up, back in here.
Elizabeth Warren is an exception.
And we've got a Congress that just doesn't get it. If all the old boys want to roll their eyes over it, well, let them roll their eyes over it. AIG was not a bank. The role of government is just to level that playing field a little bit.
The Harvard law professor, Obama advisor,
and that's why I'm running for the United States Senate.
Now U.S. Senate candidate for Massachusetts, spent the first 16 years of her life here in the windy plains of the Sooner State. Although she says that entering politics was never part of her plan.
So it's 2 bedrooms and 1 bath, but the garage was converted into a room, and that's where my brothers slept.
Warren was born in 1949, the youngest of 4 to Donald and Pauline Herring.
That's where I first broke my nose, the first time. We were playing a game called Trip 'em. As I said, that was the first time. The second time was when my Uncle Stanley sat on my head and broke it. It was an accident. The red brick house over there was where the Watts lived, who had little Jerry, the baby with colic. That was my first job.
Donald supported his family through various low-paying sales jobs in Oklahoma City, 20 miles north of where they lived in the quiet college town of Norman. Her mother stayed at home with the kids.
This would have been the main hallway.
Wilson Elementary is where the future professor learned grammar.
The class would look really different now to what it would have looked like in the 50s, because obviously we sat in rows and we were in our seats. And
Principal Cherry Burden didn't know her personally, but attended Wilson at the same time.
And it was just one of those Ozzie and Harriet type neighborhoods that you see. The moms didn't work. They were at home for the most part. A lot of people coming back from World War II. The baby boomers were just getting started.
Burden has often used alum James Garner to inspire her students.
You can't talk right side up, but you're going to talk even if it's inside out.
A visit from the actor gave Warren herself a fresh outlook on the world.
He made it all the way to Hollywood, California. There are possibilities in this world. I hadn't thought about that in forever.
Inspiration struck early. In the 2nd grade, she knew exactly what she wanted to be.
Women could be teachers and nurses. It was a good thing to do. I used to line my dollies up and teach them. I can't imagine any of this is interesting. I'm starting to feel really embarrassed about this.
Donald Herring had hopes that his sons would go to the University of Oklahoma, but instead they joined the military. After they left home when Elizabeth was 11, she and her parents packed up and moved to the city to be closer to her father's job. The biggest question was where to live. Determined to get their last child on track for college, they set their sights on one of the state's best high schools, Northwest Classen. But to do it, they had to live in one of the most affluent areas of the city, certain to be a financial strain.
And my parents were determined that they were buying a house in the Northwest Classen School District because they believed they were buying a ticket to success.
Everyone wanted to go to school there. All the teachers around town wanted to teach there because of the amenities.
They called them Silkies, and it tied in with this whole idea of royalty and well-to-do-ness.
But soon after the move, the family encountered a devastating setback. Her father had a heart attack. He eventually recovered, but his salary was cut in half. To keep their home and ultimately stay in the Northwest Classen School District, her mother found a job, and they downgraded the family car.
It had air conditioning. The car had air conditioning. That was a big damn deal. It had air conditioning. In this country, the one we lost. And that's when Mother went to work full-time at Sears.
In our high school, our graduating class of around 700, we probably had fewer than 35 of the mothers, 5% or less of the moms working. It was a very unusual thing in the 60s.
This is actually where they taught what we call home ec, and they taught ladies how to take care of home, which is a nice conservative thing to think about in the middle of Oklahoma.
The batteries fire off as many as 10,000 shells daily.
I can't say that I'm scared stiff, but I'm scared.
And while the country was deep in the midst of social change, at home and abroad, Oklahoma continued to move at its own pace.
But back in those days, there was a bit of naivete. And there was a lack of media that really could inform us.
When Warren graduated from high school in 1966, the state was still completely segregated, more than a decade after Brown versus the Board of Education.
It was when I hit junior high and high school that you realize the world is very divided.
For many students, exposure to life outside of Oklahoma meant seeking it out for themselves. So Warren signed up for the debate team.
Which meant I subscribed to Newsweek and Time Magazine and U.S. News and World Report.
Elizabeth's, I guess, best abilities were in the debate itself, in the ability to argue something successfully.
She wasn't fazed by social cliques and the fashionable students sitting around her. She made her own clothes and avoided the distractions to which most teenagers succumb.
She would chide me about wanting to be a cheerleader. She thought that was some kind of fascist organization.
Despite the stark differences between Massachusetts and Oklahoma, in many ways, Elizabeth Warren is still the same girl, except for one major deviation.
She was so conservative, and I was the, yellow dog Democrat that said, everybody should get a free everything. And we had lots of good conversations. I think our positions might have changed now.
She eventually debated her way to a state championship, leading to a full scholarship to George Washington University, bringing her to Washington for the first time. To those who knew Warren the teenager, her success has been no surprise.
Yeah, they spruced it up.
However unlikely, her journey